Let me tell you something most people in the NoFap community won't say. PMO addiction usually isn't the real problem. The real problem is a life without clarity, a life without direction, without passion, without purpose. When your life is stagnant, when you're just drifting through the days, of course porn becomes tempting. Because when there's no mission, the mind starts looking for stimulation. And PMO is the easiest dopamine hit available. But if you want to truly overcome this addiction, you need four things: clarity, certainty, confidence, and commitment. The danger of a wishy-washy life. A lot of guys say they want to quit porn, but listen carefully to how they say it. I am trying to quit. I hope this streak lasts. I'm attempting NoFap again. That energy is weak. Addiction thrives in indecision. If your mindset is halfway committed, relapse is already knocking at the door. Because a man without direction will always collapse under pressure. And when you don't know who you are, when you don't know what you're building, PMO becomes your escape. It fills the empty space in a life that hasn't been claimed yet. The identity shift. The real breakthrough happens when your identity changes. You don't overcome PMO by fighting urges all day. You overcome PMO by becoming someone who simply doesn't live that way anymore. You decide, I am a disciplined man. I am someone who values purity. I am someone who protects my energy. I am someone who follows Christ. Once that identity becomes real to you, your behavior starts to align with it. Because identity drives action. Replace PMO with something greater. Here's another truth. If porn is still the most exciting thing in your life, you will eventually relapse. You must replace it. You need something that pulls your energy upward, something that makes you feel alive. It might be training your body, building a business, creating content, learning a skill, deepening your relationship with God. When your life becomes exciting and meaningful, PMO starts to lose its grip. Not because you're forcing yourself to quit, but because you've outgrown it. Stop negotiating with the addiction. Another huge mistake people make is trying to carry pieces of their old life into the new one. They say they're quitting porn, but they still follow thirst traps. They still scroll through suggestive content. They still entertain fantasy. That's the addiction negotiating. And every time you negotiate with it, you give it power. True change requires honesty. PMO drains your energy. It weakens your discipline. It steals your focus. And spiritually, it distances you from the life you are meant to live. You can't walk two paths at once. Eventually, you have to choose. Urges are a signal. Urges aren't random. They're signals. They usually appear when something in your life is out of alignment. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you're isolated. Maybe you've stopped pursuing your goals. Maybe you've drifted away from your spiritual discipline. When you're aligned with your purpose, when you're working hard, training, building, growing, urges become weaker. Your energy starts moving toward creation instead of destruction. Daily practices that strengthen you if you want to stay aligned. Daily practices are powerful. Even just 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Meditation, prayer, breathing exercises, yoga or qigong, scripture study. These practices help you center your mind and redirect your energy. This is part of what people call sexual transmutation. You're not suppressing energy, you're redirecting it into growth. Think about the end of your life. Here's a question that puts everything in perspective. Imagine you're old, looking back on your life. What story do you want to tell? Do you want to say you spent years trapped in cycles of porn and regret? Or do you want to say you conquered yourself? That you built something meaningful? That you lived with discipline? That you followed your calling? Because one day that moment of reflection will come. And on that day, PMO won't matter. But the man you became will. This journey is about more than just quitting porn. It's about becoming a man of clarity, a man of conviction, a man who lives with purpose, not stagnant, not drifting, not wishy-washy, but fully committed to the life he was meant to live. And when you reach that point, PMO doesn't control you anymore because you're too busy living your mission. If you're doing Mastery March with me, comment below. New life, no excuses. Let's keep going.